Hey, how you guys doing? Okay, let's do it. Let's see, how's everyone going? All right, let's do our. I think it's 8 that we were gonna do. No, it's 9. There we go. Let's see how many moves that. Let's see how many. Let's do number 10. Well, this is the end of the Dutch, so we'll finish up the Dutch. Then we'll go over the Benoni versus the London. Or the London versus the Benoni, I mean. E6. Remember, you got to be careful. If he plays this, then you're for sure okay to play here. But you always got to remember that because the bishop can't go to f5. Do you remember in this line here, this could be considered a mistake. Remember? I mean, we talked about this because of this line here. But now that but because of f5, we don't have to worry about the bishop ever getting to here. So that's why you can actually now start with knight to f3, and you don't have to worry about this anymore. This idea, he's not gonna play over here. He may do that, but that'd be very radical if he does. If your opponent does that, so. Alrighty, bishop f4, e6, e3. He played b6. This is kind of I almost call this a modern Dutch. You know how they have a modern defense, because that's usually when you fianchetto your bishop. Sometimes though, what they'll do is they may even trade off their bishop for your good bishop, their bad bishop for your good bishop. That's actually happened before. Very rare condition sideline. Hey Frank, how you doing? And so this is more in my opinion, the modern Dutch of the London system. A lot of players play usually bishop e7, d3, castles. Yeah, I know we're taught in the London system sometimes to play e2, but in this line it doesn't really mean anything because e2 doesn't help with the f4. See, the reason we play d3, bishop d3, is actually for the break pretty soon with the e4. So castle, knight bd2. See, all the pieces are starting to eye for the break on e4. d6, c3. We created the pyramid. Knight c6, queen e2, or c2. Remember for the break. So we're lining up, and then the queen's trying to line up here so that when it opens, she could actually come out either of these 2 points here, out this way. h3. This is also because the knight wants to come and grab this bishop here. With this queen off here as well too, this doesn't have as much teeth, that g5 pawn spot for the queen. I mean bishop, not queen. So if the knight ever went to h5, that we would just drop our bishop to h2. Bishop d7, h2 right now, because you have to always be on guard that there's a potential e5 push that black has as well, with bishop d8, and then e5 could be played. g6, e4, f takes e, knight takes, bishop takes, d5. That's a mistake. You don't really want to do this type of a push. This you relieve the tension way too soon in the position. If anything, you'd probably want to reroute your knight in something like this, or maybe here, here, and then into e6, because this is too soon. You don't really want to do that. This actually helps white's attack on the king side. d5's dubious move. Bishop d3. This has a purpose. The only thing that's stopping us from not sacking our bishop is the queen, so black knew a little bit what to do, why to place it there. Bishop d, queen e. Now we're taking scope here. Castles. Bishop takes, q takes, rook f3. Bishop, queen d6. It's not a good move either. g3. You have to be ready that takes, bishop takes, then knight comes in, and permanently that's there. f5, bishop takes, and knight a5. And now this knight's going to be a piece of heaven on the board. Yeah, that's the whole point. e5, knight e5 is the weakness here. It's like this knight is smiling. You know how when you get something you really like, or you have really good food that you like, and it makes you get that smell of happiness and joy and everything. This is how this knight feels. Once this knight entered here, this knight is smiling from ear to ear. It's so joyous. It has a spot now to attack all the way around. Here, boom, boom, oops. Come on, draw arrow's good. Here, this is like killer. Look at that. Its range of touch is all over the place. It feels like as Jeremy Simon would say, an octopus. So, but he didn't play that. So he played b6, bishop e2, and if you're probably wondering why doesn't he play bishop to d3 here? Because this is going to happen, and we want to actually sometimes overprotect our knight. So we overprotected our knight. Bishop h3, g6, c4. Now that this has become a kind of I call it a hangnail in the position, we can actually send the pawns up to attack on the queen side, attack the hangnail of the position of g6 or b6. Sorry, g6 is over here, b6. So c3 is playable, but then it becomes more positional, and b4 could happen at that point. But you always got to remember that black does have the lockdown move potentially of a5 would be what black wants to lock the position down with. So you always got to be careful. That's why he played c4. Was c4 leaves open the opportunity for two potential breaking ideas, which a3, b4, and then crack. The wall starts collapsing. The wall of Jericho starts collapsing down. Okay, hold on, let me get a drink. So bishop g7. Knight c3, castles and castles. Knight e4, very good move, very good move. I was impressed when I saw the knight play that move. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of discipline, because we've been taught to develop our knight. This knight here wants to come out, but it can't yet, because it would block, of course, this attack here. But we have to remember that this outpost is really strong. If black and the Dutch can actually hold a e4 from black or white, that would be a really hard thing for white to get any pressure if black can lock down e4. The difference is white wants to actually have a break with e4 and then control e5. So it's kind of like it's over the e4 and e5 squares. That's what the Dutch is over in some of the lines. That's what the basis of bishop b7 was over, was actually this diagonal here. So, and so rook c1, d6. Now black's getting ready to push e5, and that's going to cause a lot of chaos. Of course, he has to prepare it with rook there. So bishop h2 is a prophylactic idea that you can actually set up here. Gadakovsky has actually played that move before, and so I figure if Gada does it, it's kind of a little. It's a little dubious slightly, because you're giving up a tempo as white, but you're also preparing to not have your opponent land that with tempi too. So it's like give and take, because you do put your bishop in a safe spot, but you do waste a move doing it. So, but I'd rather play that too. I'd rather probably kick my bishop back to d2. Safety is best in these type of close positions. So now the knight traded off for the knight on c3. We're actually, if you think about it, we're really happy about this trade, because how many moves did this knight actually have to go to? 2. See, it went here and to here. We only developed our knight to 1 square c3. So we, by retreating back, also gained back our tempi, if you think about it, because it took black 2 moves to get to e4, and when they traded off, it's about equal now, in my opinion. Rook takes has an interesting setup. a5 is actually good here, but what was played is actually knight bd7. This really doesn't give your knight a good spot to go to. You're wanting to, I understand, go into e4 again, but that's 2 moves that it would take. Like a5, b3. Now this makes a little bit more sense. And also here, there's c5. If you were thinking that is that's a mistake, a blunder, because rook d3 is actually a really strong move here, because we're going to be taking back and potentially pushing. There. Now that pawn's a weakness, the d6 pawn. So there's also d5 here. C takes d, b takes d, c takes d, e takes d, and then bishop c4. Surprisingly, this takes advantage of this pin on the queen. Queen b6, then knight takes. King h8. If he is to take here, bishop takes, check, and we pick up a rook. So we actually get our material back, and we're up a whole, I believe, let me see, he has 5, we have 6, we're up a pawn in this line. So that's why he moves, and then knight h here. And also if bishop takes again, we still have that with a threat in like that. So I thought that was pretty nifty. Before now our pawns, we have every side has a pawn chain, 1 pawn chain, so it's about equal right now. So e5, c5, takes. Man, this is kind of a big leap for black, because black now has surrendered the 2 bishops. And now white can change their plan and say, I want to go towards opening the center now. And e4, c takes, a dubious move. Queen, bishop actually e2 is better because b takes, c takes, takes, and then we move our rook. Takes, and then we get a passer. But it is kind of cool if instead of that move, if he plays queen takes, rook d2, and a piece falls. So thought that was pretty nifty there. So we win the pawn back. Queen e4. That's actually a very this queen e4 move is vital in this Dutch setup. If queen takes b4 rather than queen e, but queen takes b4 promotes to queen. Okay, and then now we pick up a knight. Takes. Let's see. G4, bishop f8, rook a2, and then we come back and we now are trying to take scope on this. So we're actually down in exchange, but we do have enough paths. We have enough pawns, and this a thorn or bone in the throat is enough to merit the loss of a piece. There we go. Rook a1 check. If e takes, e4, and now we get to cash in with this move. But f3, a brilliant move. Not brilliant, but an excellent move. I think it's pretty in the position, pretty a brilliant move though, because think about it, you're going to gambit a pawn even though you're down material. It's like, wow. King f2, knight b4, you take, take, take. So now we have 4 passed pawns. And we're down a rook, but he has 3 pawns, and we have, let's see, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 pawns. So 7 pawns versus 3, almost equal to a rook. King e7, e5, there, bishop f4, takes, king f3, bishop a3, king d7, and then king e4, and now these pawns start rolling. And if we can actually, if he takes, we have e6, and we pick up the rook. So something like if he plays here, this actually wins on the spot, because you then now have rook takes, and now we got that. So there's a lot of teeth when you have 4 passers like that. Rook b2 is that's actually a really interesting move, trading down to hold. Rook c3, but that would be silly for us to trade. Bishop b4, rook c3, or c6, queen e8, e6, check, knight e, d5, h6, mistake. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, what? No, black almost had it. Black should have just slowed down and just reconsolidated the position. Just, you know what, slow down. Don't fear, don't react, don't do the amateur's mind like Jeremy Silman talks about. Hold the position, keep it calm, don't get hyper. But he should have played rook b4 and tried to get some checks in there. And b3, just check. e5 is a mistake because of bishop check and rook e4. And now there's no way of the king getting out, and it's going to end up becoming a mate. Let's see, king e2 is actually an excellent move here. F, B, that's to hold the pawn. A4, king e2, c2, and then this would end up basically all close to becoming a draw almost. It'd be a draw if they could have, but h6, now it's not a draw. Now this is really bad for black, because in theory we can trade off enough of these pawns and get an outside passer, so he's in a big time world of hurt. Bishop e7, d6, bishop takes. So now we got one piece back for the pawn. All right, now we're actually winning, in my opinion. White's winning. We're gonna gobble this pawn up, and it's gonna be over. e5, rook c7, h4, and there's nothing really black can do. Black can try to go g4, but we have enough that we can actually clamp down, and we have actually three passers. Even in this scenario here, we have a passer that can come up the board. And now there's no way to stop the threat of queening. So at this point he resigned. So I thought that was a pretty beautiful game. A good one to end on for the Dutch defense. Are we ready? All right, let us start. Oh boy, lovely end game. Okay. Let's see here. I'm looking at potentially, let's see, boy. Do we take? Let me see here. So E takes D. I was looking at that. Because we don't want to take towards the king, or do we? Because this is all about taking away from the king. Let's see here. So E takes D5. If D takes E4. E takes D5. King E6. And then King D2. King takes E5. King E4 or E3. King D5. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure if we win that. I'm looking at this. He can't go he can't go D3 because the pawn guards D3. He has to go D2 and then walk around to E3 to stop it. We may have to play G6. So D takes E. Well, D takes. Oh, E takes D. Oh, you did. You wanted E takes D4. Okay. I was thinking. Oh, sorry. I was thinking D takes E4 here. D takes E4 is an interesting line that I was looking at. Because that keeps our pawns a little closer, so that potentially we can have two connectors on the side of the board. So yeah, so I'm thinking about doing that. King E6, King D2, King takes E5, King E3, F5. If G takes F5, King takes F5, B4, G5, B5, and then G4. I'm thinking, can we still stop? Let's see if he's there. Let's see there. 4. We might want to take and go G6 and then F5. Yeah, that's the move. King up. At this point, we're gonna take. We'd want to take here, and then you want to go G6 and then F5, and then you make your connected passers. I believe that's right. Oh, wrong. Oh, F6 first. Oh, okay. That's the taking. Okay, so I had the right idea. Yeah. Yeah, we had the right idea. Okay, so we had the correct idea. We just didn't have it implemented right. So E takes D, king over, king up, down, takes. Oops, sorry, wrong. Takes here. That's what I mean. Here, 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 here. So F6 is to prevent that. This actually helps G5. King comes over. Okay, and then he's winning. Alright, so that I get it now. I see why F3, because then B5, Z2, and then takes, and we get there just in time. There's no way to stop these two connectors. Yeah, Drat. Sorry about that. A little over exciting there. Okay. Let's do it right here. Now that we went through it. See, bishop b4, queen takes b4, boy, we have a rook issue there. We have also a back rank sitch, so that's not too pleasant for our position. It could be that we could play rook c7, but I don't know if that even works, because if we, after rook takes d6, rook takes c3, rook d8 is mate, so that doesn't turn out the way we're happy about. That's not a happy time for us. Let's see, how can we get in there? I'm thinking bishop b4, queen takes b4, queen b2 check. If queen c2, rook takes d4, bishop takes d4, queen takes d4 check, intercepts. We have he's got an outside passer, but we got still a pawn majority. So, oh boy, this is different to say the least. I want to play e5, but there's really no good way to stop queen c8 check. Boy, this is maybe bishop e5. I'm thinking maybe it's bishop e5. Maybe bishop to e5. And then if rook takes d5, so that's not good. I think we're kind of stuck with bishop b4 here. Queen takes b4, queen b2, check. The king can't, I mean the bishop can't intercept because the queen would end up being potentially lost. queen would be queen would actually be lost with queen takes b4, and the rook can't excuse me, the rook can't take because it's pinned. So queen c2, so what is the king got to do? King d3, and then queen queen e2, I guess. Check. What do you think? I'm thinking I think the only move that makes any sense is bishop take, bishop b4. What do you guys think? No, queen c7, queen c3 can't be played. The queen guards that. Oh, you're talking about, oh, that? Well, then the rook would actually potentially slide over. I'm thinking about bishop b4. It's the most forcing line. What do you think about that? Bishop b4 is it's pinned to the queen. Yeah, bishop b4 is right. See, queen e2, queen e2, king c3, rook, I remember seeing this before. That's why I remembered bishop e4. Let me see here. I think we got to this point last time, and I don't think we got it right. I remember we were at this point one time in our play here too. We had to choose. Let's see. Let's see. Bishop e2 check. King e4 forced. Queen b1 check. If king f, yeah, it's mating. If king f4, queen f5 is actually a mate. And this is mate too as well. Well, because last time we played queen b2 and it was wrong. We had to actually play queen e2, queen b1, and then that's how we win the game. Actually, I'll go back over that one more time after this, and I'll show you the line that we went over and the reason it didn't work. But you have to but we already know we got it right. But we probably shouldn't go over the wrong lines because that teaches you bad habits. But so if you had any questions on that, we could go over it. Yeah, the bishop b4 was actually a critical move to play. It was the only move to do it. Let me see here. Let's see here. Most forcing line that feels like it's forcing is actually h4 check. Rook h4 check is the most forcing line. Rook h4, rook h4 check. If bishop h3, rook takes h3 check. If g takes f3, g takes h3. We have rook I don't really see anything to be gained after that, so that was what I was kind of diving into. I think it does win. But it's really this is really the only way to keep our bishop from getting captured. So Yeah, rook c3 I think is correct. See, rook c3, queen takes g5. Rook c takes h3. Check. G takes h3. Queen. No, I don't think. Well, queen f2 check. Then. So rook c3, queen takes g5. If rook c takes h3, check. G takes h3. So, so. I think we're right, yeah. So let's go with it. Wow. That's pretty different, to say the least. Yeah, I forgot that the queen's not... The queen, once it intercepts there, we win. Because here, 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 if queen takes, we take here. Here, queen comes in there, and you pick up a piece in this line here. You're up a minor piece. Walk in the park, Basinski, right? You gotta love that. Okay, dokie. Boy, this is a tickler for sure, a teaser. Let's see. Do we? There's a check on e3. Queen checks on e3. We don't have anything. There's rook takes d5. Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's kind of one of those that, but you have to find the right continuation. So there's a couple checking idea. I think there's really only one. Is there one check? I guess there's two, but that would give up the queen. Who would want to do that? That'd be silly. That'd be really silly. It's gonna be kind of hard for a draw though, because we do have we have like 4 pieces that can actually move. Or 5 pieces, so let's see here. Queen d3 check. Seems like the most seems like the most forcing line in the sequence. We have to check because we're in a fork. So we're kind of forced. Queen d3 check, and king potentially to maybe g2. Rook takes d5. There's queen e8, queen e8 check, king h7. Queen takes f7. So we're in a kind of a quagmire at that point. What do you think, Economy? Are we on the right track with that line? Yeah, let's just go with it. Yeah. Excuse me. Queen d2. Boy, let me see here. So queen d2, king f3, queen d3. If king g4, h5, king takes h5, queen e2 check, king h4. I'm not really sure about this one. Yeah, we're thinking moves that potentially could rook takes d5 But in this one you lose your knight on f7, and we're also considering queen d2 check. These are the two moves that are that only make sense. But see, what happens though is this is the line that if it falls apart, I know this right here. I'll show you right here. This line, I actually had it out right there. That if we took the rook, that would actually be what potentially would come to pass, and then we'd lose our knight. So that's why we were thinking about potential check, and the only move that makes sense is actually queen d2. I was looking at rook b8, but queen c7 forks the rook on b8 and the knight on f2. So I guess you could play rook e2 at that point. I think we would have a draw at that point. Yeah, I'm going to go with queen d2. King f3. Knight e5. And potentially we have enough material for a draw. Knight e5, f takes e5, queen there, queen king g2. Yeah, I'm looking at that too. Yeah, I'm thinking that if we did queen d3 check and king g2, we have queen e2 check, and if king h3, we have queen to h5 check, and that's a perpetual, I think. I believe that's a perpetual if he goes king there. And if queen queen d3 check, king g4, we have queen to e2 check, and if king h4, do we have g5 at that point, almost threatening mate, close to mating idea with g5? That would cause a little terror into our opponent at that point, because he'd be pretty scared there. Oh yeah, that would work too. Yeah, let's go with the queen check. There we go. Good work there. Okay, let's see here. Well, we'll check that after this. We'll see if it was a draw, because you never know. It's always worth seeing. I think I remember this one. I vaguely remember this one. Or is it when the queen was over here? Because this one kind of reminds me. Let's see, rook. There's two checks. There's rook h1 check, or bishop takes c7 check. Let's see. Bishop takes c7 check. Rook takes c7. Queen b8. There's queen to g3. Queen g3. I think I think that stops that idea. See, rook takes, so you're looking at rook takes, rook check, rook h1 check, king, oops, king g3, bishop takes c7 check, rook takes c7. queen b8, queen f4, But what if we check first? Oh, we win a... What am I thinking? We win a rook here. Hey, wait, we win a rook here. Guys, we win a rook. Rook h1. If we... let me rook h1. Hold on, what was I going to say? Oh, rook h1 check. Got it. King g3. Bishop takes f2 check, and if queen takes f2, queen takes b7. Queen takes b7. There we go. What do you think about that line? Rook h1 check, king g3, bishop takes f7 check, queen takes f7, and then queen takes b2. Yeah. See, it's a discovered check on when the king moves to g3. When the king moves to g3. Yeah. But we have a check that I was looking at, so I'm like, ugh. I think we have to go. Is it king? See, king 8. I'm thinking king f8. Wait, king. Yeah, so king h8. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think there's really any other way than that. King f8 or h8, rotates g7. King takes g7. So there's nothing. King h8. No, king h8. Queen f6. Where's I don't understand. Queen f6. Where's queen f6? Oh, queen f7 you mean? Oh, queen f7. Okay. Alright, king h8, queen f7. I think we're still okay in that line though. See, I think we can just move our rook. See if king h8, queen f7. I think we have rook g8 and we're fine. I think rook g8 is the move that holds all of our puzzle pieces together at that point. But do we want to go down that line though? That's the kind of hard thing, is it? Do we wanna box ourselves in? If we go king f8, bishop d6, rook has to block. Bishop takes, king takes, rook takes, g7 check, and he skewers our yeah, I'm thinking it's king h8. That's the only move. And then the only move that saves the day at this point is rook g8. That wins on the spot. It's kind of very drawish at that moment, but we're holding enough. So here, bishop takes, queen takes, rook knight there, check, king here, queen comes in, there. You're saying rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, and you're winning on the spot because of this attack here. And it's also a double. It's an attack here and here, so he loses. So this is winning. Like rook e4 is probably going to have to be what he tries to hammer through. Okay, so you wanted to go back over and take a look at this line here. We should do that. Yeah, when you win a piece, it's like sweet. It's like you know, as they say, sweet apple pie. You gotta love that. Okay, check. Oops, here. Wait a second. Come on. Okay, you were saying knight e5. It's 95, 95. Let me see. No. No, knight e5 doesn't at this point. This actually, I think it loses because he has king g3, and then you have to take there. So the only move that holds is the keeping the checks. If it comes up here, queen h5 is a perpetual. Comes here, g5 takes, and then queen h2 is a perpetual as well. And then e5 at this point. Now e5 works. Yeah, well, I just wanted to. Chess wanted to go over and see if e5 95 was a winnable idea, so we went over it, and it doesn't work. So now we know, and we won't play that. Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah. He said back a little further that let me see back here that he thought that e5 also 95 instead of the queen to, I think it was d2, 95 might have been a perpetual check as well. So we just checked that out. Oh boy, let's see. This looks fun. Let's see. You have queen g7 check. It could. You know what? It all depends on you know, what your opponent plays too. So thankfully, we're not facing an opponent. I mean, not a chess player, but we're facing an opponent. I'm thinking I think we have the idea. Bishop c8. Bishop c8 check. Bishop c8. if king takes c8, we have queen a8 check. King comes up to c7, queen takes a7 check. King moves. We play queen takes h7. And if the knight takes, we just check on b7 and we pick up the queen anyways. So I'm thinking that this is right here. Oh. Yeah, that's not fun. Huh. They're not playing fair. That's not fair. You know what? They didn't go for our plan. They didn't fall for it. That's not fun. Remember, it's got to be fun for us. That's the whole thing. Let's see here. Oh, this is a bummer. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Bishop, bishop d7, queen takes d7, queen g8 check, king up, queen let me see. Yeah, I think that is mate. Yeah. Yeah, that would be mate, wouldn't it? Yeah, that is right. Oh, wow. That king is doing, as you guys are saying, the oldest move in the book, running away. That king is like running for its life. Let's see. We can't go f3 because knight f5 is check. So. Yeah, I think we yeah, I think that is right because oh, no. Let's see. Ah. It's actually taken. We almost had it. He can't take here, so he's got to go back. Alright, he could potentially go here, but if he does, then we have this or that, and we get a skewer. I should have seen that. So there's really nothing he can do. He has that move, and that loses to that. He's got this move, that loses to that. He's got this move, that loses to either there or there. So he's got this move. I think that may actually hold. Let's see. No, oh, he can't play there because of the queen. So any move he plays, yeah, that was mine there. Sorry. We'll solve it right this time. Yeah. Let me see here. So almost trapped the queen, so we almost have the queen trapped. I'm thinking potentially rook hf1, and if the queen moves to g2, rook takes f3, is that right? We got to be careful though. Rook f or hf1. There is bishop b4 check. I think we're still okay. I'm not sure though if king takes b4. c5 check, king I guess c2, c4 maybe. Oh, the bishop's pinned. Okay, then we're good to go. Okay, bishop rook f or hf1. Then that has to be the move then, rook hf1. And I believe that wins. But he might try knight d7 in that line though. Well, then I guess we could play queen takes e7, king takes e7, and queen takes f. Queen takes f. Our bishop, rook takes f2. Sorry. See, this is what he might play: rook hf1, knight d7. We can actually play queen takes e7, check. King takes e7, and then rook takes f2, and we're up a whole piece in that line. Queen e3. What's bishop? Are we on the same puzzle? Because queen e3 loses, queen takes e3. Oh, knight d5. Well, as we still we still win there. So even if that happens, we're still winning. See, rook hf1, knight d5. If queen takes d5, bishop takes d5, a rook takes f2, and we're still up a piece. Or he could, I see what you're saying. He might play queen takes f2, f1 at that point. So rook at hf1, knight there, queen takes there, queen takes. Yeah, that kind of would be a headache, wouldn't it? Interesting there. Okay, let's see then, how do we handle that? Our rook on 8, the only reason I was thinking about rook h1 to f1 is that's the rook that's being attacked by the... I think we could just, can't we just move our king though? I was thinking after this line, rook hf1, knight d5, can't we just play knight d5 check? Can't we just play king c4 though? Or would that... That is interesting. I'm thinking knight, you're right, knight takes bishop, queen takes f3, and then rook hf1 at that point. Yeah, that would potentially help us win it. And then we'd have a spot to kind of go to, wouldn't we? Knight takes f3, queen takes f3. Rook hf1. Okay, or would we want to play rook af1? That's why I was thinking if we play if we play knight takes f3, queen takes f3, rook f1, queen c6, king d2, and then we can if bishop bishop b4, king c1, and then we're safe, and the rooks, both the rooks are out, and we're operation. Oh, wait a second, the bishop can't check. Sorry, it's pinned. I forgot about it. So what do you guys think the line is then? Because I proposed basically 2 or 3 or 4 lines, and I was wondering if you have a line that you're looking at. So knight takes f3, right? Oh, you're thinking knight f5? Oh, knight takes f3, queen takes f3, rook hf1, queen d5. Dodging. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah. We could also threaten mate with knight takes f3, queen takes f3, and then rook a e1. That threatens checkmate. So maybe. The only thing I see is rook hf1, knight d5, check, king c4, and then b5. Is that a problem? We'll give it a shot. Do we move the king here? The only thing about queen takes d5 is queen takes f1. Oh, gotcha. 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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was an interesting one. If he takes here, we can actually, oops. who'd have thunk? That's actually playable. And if queen takes, then we take on a8. Huh. we still win even after that, because we're up a whole piece. But this way here, after oops, not that. What am I doing? If rook takes here, knight takes, and if queen takes here, it's like smashing. Queen takes. Oh, bishop d, and we could check, get the king out of there, and then grab that. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. Okay. All right, now we get to get our knight involved here. This should be fun. Let's see. Okay, oops. Sorry, if we do that, we actually get checkmated. So I'm checkmated. I'll have to check that for you, Frank. Don't worry. We'll get that taken care of. We'll go back over that after this one. I'm looking at potentially knight c5 check. See, knight c5. If king, this is a bad move. King b2, knight d3 is a fork. D3 check is a fork. So he can't play this line. That's a fork. That would lose. So he's really only got one move that our opponent can play. Our opponent only has one move that they can play. I guess you're right. He does have passed pawns, doesn't he? So knight c5, king a3. So we're going for so knight c5 check is the move. Are we all in that together? Yeah. Good job. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I forgot, Frank. I'll do your thing. I'm sorry. I'm really excited about the other thing. I'll remember. I'll write that down. Hold on. Okay. All right, I got it. Okay. Actually, I'm thinking. I'm not sure about rook takes. I'm looking at queen g3. Queen g3 check. Queen g3 check. F takes g3. Rook d2 check. And if king goes to g1, actually h1, rook f1 is mate. Let's see, queen g3 check. F takes there. Yep, that's the move. Nice. Great work there. Okay, we were gonna go back and take a look at Frank's idea. I promised you I would do that. And Frank, here we go. So this is you were asking about was it something to do with oh, it was after this. Here. It's I can't remember. What was the question you had, Frank? Is it check knight takes f3? Oh, knight takes f3. Gotcha. So knight takes f3. Okay, knight takes f3, queen takes f3, and then rook hf1. Knight b5. So queen. This is actually good for black. Gotcha. And then base castle queen side, and a3, and we're basically just holding, because if he takes here, we get rook there, and he's still winning. Okay, so that's we handled that. Oh, the knight C. Oh, you want to check the knight C5 puzzle? Okay. King B2. Gotcha. Will do. On it. Okay. I think it's a knight. Okay. Here, I'll get you the puzzle real quick. Alright. Come on. There we go. Okay. We'll do, let's see how much time do I have left on. I think I got enough time for one more. Yeah, we'll do one more. If you want the puzzle, I downloaded it for you. There, you can use it. That's a pretty it's a pretty regular one that might come up with the knights and two rooks. That might be one that comes up pretty regular. Okay. At first glance, I'm looking at bishop takes h7. I don't think he would, if bishop takes h7, sorry, bishop takes h7. If king takes h7, that'd be a mistake because of bishop f, I think f4, bishop f4 check. King would have to go to g6 and rook g3. So it'd be something like that. It would kind of, his position would eventually start falling apart, collapsing internally, but I'm not sure if that's right or not. I'm getting it feels right. The one thing that you have to look at after bishop takes h7 is g takes h6. And then you'd have queen takes h6, rook g7. Rook g7 is an interesting move after that. So I'm just thinking. Interesting. Well, now you gotta calculate in bishop takes g7, king takes g7. You have to calculate in what would happen if he took with the king. So bishop takes g7. I guess queen could take at that point, huh? You probably want to take with the rook. So bishop takes h7. If king takes h7, well, that's interesting. But yeah, that's what I was looking kind of more at too. Because we have enough snipers set up to cause some damage. See that this is the interesting thing. Bishop takes h7. If g takes h6, queen takes h6, bishop and g7, and then queen to h3 probably, and then we're still okay in that line. Actually, I'm mistaken. I think, let me see here. Yeah, let's see. Bishop there contains bishop f4, king g6, g3. Oh yeah, that would be mate, wouldn't it? Yeah. So let's go with it. Oh, wait a second here. Ah. Okay. One more and then I gotta log. Let's do this thing. Okay. I didn't see it. I apologize. I didn't see it till till the very last moment. That wasn't my intent to go against the team. I thought we agreed that it was a possible idea. So I didn't. I thought it would actually work. I did. Yeah, it looked like it worked. But that's set up for a very standard tactical setup, though. Let's see here. I'm looking at potentially. I dislike these endgames. I'm looking at G5 here, and then A5 or A4. Rook takes E6. King takes E6. G6. King F6. King H6. A3. King H7. A2. G7. A1 equals queen. G8. G8 equals queen, but I don't know if we win anything in that line. Okay. So what do you guys think the line is? See, let's see, G5, A4, rook takes, king takes. So are we looking at the first move G5 or what? What would be what's kind of your end game preference? So rook G5 check, rook E5, rook takes E5, check, king takes E5, and then we go G5, then we go G5. Oh, you want to take the rook. Okay, you want to take the rook? So rook takes, king takes E, G, there. Let's see, rook takes E6, king takes E6, G5, F7, G there. Yeah, he gets in front. Because it's rook takes E6, king takes E6. Probably we'd have to play king king G6 more likely, but then king E5, king H7, G5, and then up the board it goes. But do we have enough time? Do we have enough time though? That is the question. I'm kind of considering rook G5 check, and if rook E5, rook takes E5, King takes e5. G5, e6, g6, king e7, king h there. I think we get there just in the nick of time. King h6. I think we get there just in the nick. Okay. So rook g5, check, rook e5, rook takes e5, queen takes e5, g5. What is a1? Is that a4? g6, oh, a3, gotcha, a3, g7, a2, g8, queens. Oh, I gotcha. So are we all in agreement on that? I'm taking rook g5. What do you guys think? I hope this is right because we calculated it out. Let's So here, king h6, a3, g7, king f7, king h7, a2, g8 equals queen check. King has to go to f6 and then queen h8 check. Is that right? Okay, we'll call it there. Yeah, because if okay, we'll call it on that. and then we get the pawn. D after D. Okay, so you got any questions before we log? Oh, I got you. You wanted to check that out. King D6. Ah, gotcha. You win the pawn here. And then he has to come down. G5. And then I think you can do a Lucinda position if I'm not mistaken. Like king here. Thinking, let me see, how do I do this? There we go. There's our Lucinda position. And there you go. A half Lucinda, yeah. Hey, it works. So, are you guys good? Did I answer all your questions? Okay, perfect. Then I will say do. Alright. Okay, we have to remember life is about treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. Remember that mistakes don't define you. It is how you handle a mistake that defines you. We have to remember what Bruce Lee said also. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That's a really good quote I always like. And I could then tie in, there are no limits, there are plateaus, and we must not stay there, we must go beyond the plateau. And we have to also remember, we become what we think about. So if you think thoughts that you can't do it, it'll come to pass. If you think thoughts that you can do, it will. It kind of goes back to the little engine that could on the one. There was Rusty the train. She was a small engine that wanted to be a hauler, one of those toy haulers for the real city and the real kids. And she would say, I'm just too small. He says, you're not too small, but I am. But she says no. And he says no, you're not. And then he actually he went there. If you think you can, you will. That's what he says. If you think you can't, you won't. But either way, you're right. That's what he says. That's what we become, what we think about. So if you think that you can't do something, thoughts, it's going to end up coming to pass. But if you think those thoughts, how can I? That will come to pass as well, because you'll find a way to actually make it come to pass. The Lord's built that into us, my friends, that if we want it bad enough, we'll strive to get it. So it's if you want it bad enough. That's the whole thing that I've realized with getting to 2500. We want it bad enough to get to the 2500 level marker, that we're taking our time and working through puzzles. So it's how bad do you want it? But you know what? The journey begins, like with what Yazir says, every long journey begins with one small step. So our small step is, every puzzle we calculate is a small step, but it's a great step when we get it right and we learn from it and improve. So you know what? We have to remember that to get to the goal that we want to get to, sometimes you have to give up things a little bit in your life. Like my parents taught me, you can't use 1 second twice. So what you use that 1 second for, my friends, will determine if it's for the area that you want or for something else. Because eventually the time will come for the tournament, and it's if you're prepared. You know what I mean? So you will have to face your opponents, and you'll either do it prepared or not prepared. That's I guess that's the best saying. And we also need to we have to say this too, like on facing the giants. Do we love the Lord when we're just victors, or do we love the Lord when we're not having such a good day? So it all comes back to that you know what, it's nice when we get the diamonds, but there's the days when there's the stones. We don't think about that, because I understand you are what you think about, but you become what you think about. But we have to also remember that there are those days, and you know what, we have to love the Lord when he gives the points, and you have to love the Lord when he takes away the points, because you know what, he tries your faith, my friends, with that. So just keep that in mind, that the days that you're like, Lord, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you helping me? Why am I struggling with this? There's a really good poem. It's Footprints in the Sand. The person looked back, and there were two sets of footsteps, one of the Lord and one with him. And at certain parts in his life, when it was the hardest, there was one set of footprints. And the person turned to the Lord and says, what's going on? Why is there only one? You said you'd always be there with me. He says, that was during the time that I carried you. When you couldn't carry yourself and you were down and out without energy, that's when I loved you and cared for you. I carried you. So just keep that in mind when you think the Lord doesn't care for you, or there is no Lord. Just keep that in mind, those times when he carries you. Okay. And what we have to always remember, though, as chest crunchers, we hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, we sit down and study when most won't. We do, and that makes all the difference, my friends. So like with Tigger, you can always when you're studying, they're like, why are you studying? You can say, I'm a chest cruncher. And when they say, what's a chest cruncher, you can do that one thing that we always say. Hey, you hang up your coat, you hang up your hat, you sit down and study when most won't. You do, and that makes all the difference. And you can say, that's a chest cruncher. All right. So, as Wesley so says for the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll keep pushing forward and striving for that 2,500 marker. 2 thumbs up, congratulations, and always keep studying and loving the Lord. Be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow.